What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the jail. Guys, I got a freaking great video for you today. And basically what this boils down to is the best ways to detail your engine bay. Now, a lot of this is going to be based 100% on opinion. What I did do, aside from adding my own opinion here and there, is I reached out to some individuals that I know that do judging for the National Muscle Car Association, Mustang Club of America, good guys. So essentially I reached out to them and said, hey, what's a deal breaker? What's going to make a car win? What's going to make a car lose? What's the stuff you see all the time? Common mistakes, screw ups that, guys that want to get their car noticed, they want to win trophies. Maybe they want to get their pictures put up by big pages on Instagram, Facebook, or even in a YouTube video, stuff like that. People do want to get their car noticed, especially when they customize it. So I'll put some stuff together for you, and we're going to go over some basics. Then we're going to go over kind of a top 5. Then we're going to have some close calls, and then I've got a couple of pro tips also for you. You are not going to want to miss this. Let's go. Okay, guys, before we go any farther, let's talk real quick about what detailing an engine bay means. Now, don't give this car too much mind. It is mid-restoration, but I promise you, you wouldn't believe it if you saw it how it was before. Now, here's the thing with detailing an engine bay. As you can see, the engine bay is completely cluttered with wires and hoses and just stuff, brackets and wire looms and brake boosters. And this goes for any car. Any engine bay is going to be cluttered. So essentially, the way it's explained to me and the way I personally see it is simplifying, cleaning, and, uncluttering as much as possible. Now, if you take a look at my other car, it's kind of went to the extreme with that. And as you can see, this one's had wire tucked and the engine bay smoothed, and basically anything and everything not necessary that could be hidden was hidden. So that's essentially going to be, that's the great rule of thumb as far as detailing an engine bay, is you want to cover and hide as much as possible to make it look clean, make it look uncluttered, and ultimately make the engine bay as pleasing to the eye as possible. One quick note, guys, that I did want to bring up just to kind of back up what I'm saying to you. If you'll notice, most newer engines have what's called an engine cover. This is your engine cover. And just about every brand out there nowadays especially have those. And the reason is underneath those engine covers are all the wires, all the sensors, all the stuff that you don't want to see. So even factory-equipped vehicles, they will have some of that same principle already incorporated into a factory car. So essentially, as a car guy, as someone who's customizing their vehicle, following that same trend is a great idea. All right, guys, so in no particular order, let's talk about some of the top 5 things that they essentially said are no bueno. The very first one, colored wire loom. What's wrong with colored wire loom? The thing about wire is you want wire to blend into the background. You want it to hide. You don't want people to be drawn to it with their eyes when they're looking at your engine bay. That's the same reason people do wire tucks, or they eliminate certain wiring for this or that maybe isn't necessary. Wiring should be hidden, and when you put colored wire loom on it, you draw attention to it, and that's a total no-no, and it makes your engine bay look like basically spaghetti when you open the hood. That also goes through for putting wire loom on smaller hoses, vacuum lines, EGR lines, stuff like that. Definitely a no-no. You're drawing attention to something you don't want to draw attention to. Okay, and the next thing, number 2, rattle canning your engine bay. And yeah, I personally have seen this. Here's the big problem with rattle canning your engine bay. Number 1, a lot of times people don't mask things off, and so it just looks like they just went through there with a spray bomb and just sprayed everything. So that's number 1, you didn't mask everything off. And number 2 is when you buy spray paint from AutoZone or O'Reilly or whatever, it doesn't have hardeners in it. So the next time you go in there to bolt everything back in after you've rattle canned it, or you go to work on something, replace something, even clean something, that paint is going to flake off and show what's underneath. What happens then is basically the engine bay looks worse than it did before. No matter what your paint looked like underneath it, an honest underhood paint color that came from the factory, maybe it's faded and a little bit dirty, is always better than a cheap, halfway done rattle can job. Promise you. All right, guys, so number three. And again, these aren't any in particular order. The cheap radiator covers, the little braided hose kits that you get from like eBay and the parts stores. And essentially, they're trying to make it look like true braided line with AN fittings. And they don't. What happens is they get dirty, they start to fray, they start to pull back, and they look really bad. And they look cheap. Everybody knows you can buy those kits for like $10 at Pep Boys. And so it's not really helping anything at all. There are nice silicone hose kits. You can actually do the real braided hose kits with the real AN fittings. Those look phenomenal. Or you can just have a nice clean black hose, because again, that's one of those things that you don't want to draw attention to, just like putting colored loom on your wiring. All right, so number 4, and this one is kind of not random, but vague. Too much of anything is no bueno. If you open the hood and everything is carbon fiber, or everything is chrome, or everything is polished, or everything is painted body color, it's too much. It just kind of goes over the top. The idea is get a nice mixture of a little bit of maybe body color paint, maybe a little bit of some polish under there. And another thing I was told is mixing a lot of chrome and a lot of polish together kind of throws the eye off too and makes everything look just off. Again, these are pro tips. Last and final thing is lots of, different colors, or colors that make you think of things that you don't want them to think of. If you have a yellow car and you have lots of orange or red accents under the hood, makes you think of McDonald's. If you have a red car and have lots of green accents under your hood, makes you think of Christmas. So remember those little things. I promise you, those make a huge deal when you're detailing your engine bay, and someone may be considering it to put it on their Instagram, their Facebook, their online magazine, or I don't know, maybe give you a trophy to show. Okay, and the last and final thing, and these are actually two things that go together, but from what I was told are from maybe guys that just really don't know. Maybe they're new to the game, and maybe they're just starting off, but they do these two things together. And the first part of that is stickers everywhere. 1, maybe 2 stickers isn't bad under the hood. Anything more than that, and it's just overcompensating. Like if you have an Excel sticker on your wiper motor and a MSD sticker on your strut tower, and you get the idea. No bueno. Maybe 1, maybe 2 stickers on the hood is fine, but any more than that, and it gets out of control. And the second part of this is spraying everything with Armor All, and everything is greasy and nasty to the touch. Just because it's shiny doesn't mean it's detailed. And all that Armor All and all that tire shine that you sprayed under the hood collects dust and ultimately makes your engine bay look worse than it ever possibly was before. I promise you, those will make you lose a show every time. Alright guys, so we've got a couple of close calls here, and I want to give these to you in order that I got them. Number 1, taking everything possibly you can unbolt off and painting it. That can get out of control, especially if your car is like a bright color and you've got a lot of black plastic under the hood and you paint everything blue to match your car, like your radiator hold downs and your wiper motor and your coil cover and all that. That can get out of control. So no, that's not a bad necessarily thing to do, but again, everything in moderation. Number 2, painting the engine block. Now, that's a close call because it can be done right, and I've seen it done right, and it looks very good. However, if you don't do it right, if you don't use the right paint, if you don't prep right, then all it really does is crack and peel off, and it also shows every single leak your engine might have, especially if you do like a bright color like a red or green or yellow. You're going to see all those leaks, and all that's going to do is make them more visible to people who are looking at your engine bay. No bueno. And number 3 on the close call, hydro dipping. Now, hydro dipping is pretty cool, again, in moderation, but you can go too far, way too far. And sometimes you might want to vomit looking at some of the examples I've got, but I'm telling you, a little bit of hydro dip is okay. A lot will just totally turn off anybody. So last and final thing, I asked the judges what is some pro tips that they could maybe throw out there. Nothing crazy, just to help guys in the back of their mind, be cognizant of when they go to design their engine bay and make their engine bay look the way they want to. And the biggest thing that I got from all of them is chrome and polished metal under your hood is extremely high maintenance, and it looks good when you buy it, but unless you take a lot of time to seal it or continually polish, it's going to look bad very quickly with all the heat. Maybe the first time you get coolant or some other chemical on it, it will look bad, and then you'll spend the rest of your time polishing, cleaning, all of that, and that makes it really hard to enjoy your car, like as far as driving it and things of that nature. All right, so a couple final tips. Number one, your car is your own. Do it how you want. I did this video because I know a lot of individuals who want to have their car noticed on Instagram or Facebook or online magazines, YouTube, stuff like that. And so I polled these judges and got some of the best tips that I feel like you're going to get anywhere. But ultimately, it's your car. Do it exactly how you want it, because that's what hot rodding is all about. Number two is, if you're really liking these tips and how they're going, I'll have some examples kind of flashing up, but the main thing is you want to draw people who are looking at your engine bay kind of to the center of it. You want everything to be clean, as many non-necessary items hidden away as possible, and everything that you're drawing that person's eye to be properly painted, polished, or powder coated. Remember the 3 P's, and I promise you, your engine bay will look great. All right, boys, so I hope you enjoy this video. I certainly had a great time making this video and looking at some of the things that these pro judges had to say that truthfully, guys, I never even thought about it. And I will admit, hand in the air, I'm guilty of some of these. Now, I haven't done it in a long time, but I am guilty of some of these somewhat distasteful things. Now, when you don't have a whole lot of money, you're young, and don't really know a heck of a lot about cars, yep, you're going to make these mistakes, and I did, and I got a good laugh out of it. So, yeah, I'm not even going to show you pictures or tell you what I did, because I was a little embarrassed. But hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, big thumbs up. Make sure you smash that subscribe button. New Year's is coming up. Everybody be safe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Later.